Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. In our top story, a final farewell. This morning, firefighter Gregory Lewis was laid to rest in St. Thomas. Hundreds of family members, friends, and former colleagues turned out to honor the beloved Virgin Islander at a special ceremony at the Shiloh Seventh-day Adventist Church on St. Thomas. Here's more. Many mourners gathered during the funeral procession for Gregory Lewis, formerly of St. John. On August 18th, the fireman was shot in the back of the head while he was sitting on a bench outside the hotel company station by Fort Christian on St. Thomas.
To cling to this present world. The truth is life is transitory. What is life?
Many government workers, representatives from local charities, former firefighters, friends, and supporters talked about Lewis, describing his personality for those who didn't know him.
If we want to make the most of life, he said, we need to face the fact that it is going to end.
After the funeral service, the congregation made their way to the Eastern Cemetery in Smith Bay, where he was laid to rest. And as we reported, a public vigil was held last week outside the hotel company fire station to honor and celebrate the life of Gregory Lewis of St. John. No update on the shocking murder, but a private entity has offered a reward for any information leading to an arrest. Please call police, Crime Stoppers, or 911 if you have any information that can assist. The status of the VI Police Department and VI Corrections Bureau will be discussed. The Homeland Security, Public Safety, and Justice Committee will meet at the Louette's Conference Room on St. Croix on Wednesday to consider a bill relating to the VI Police Department's Internal Affairs Division. Meanwhile, in crime news on Friday, August 26 at approximately 8:24 p.m., police say a concerned citizen reported discharging of shots and a man down in the vicinity of Hill Street in Christiansted. Officers say they arrived on the scene and observed a male victim lying on the ground. Here's more from VIPD.
The victim appeared to have sustained several bullet wounds to his back, chest, and neck and appeared to have no vital signs, according to the emergency medical technicians on the scene. The victim, 32-year-old Sean Javois, was transported by the morgue attendant to the Wong-If-Louis Hospital, where he was pronounced dead by the doctor on duty. The Virgin Islands Police Department Criminal Investigations Bureau is asking for help in solving these homicides and is asking anyone with information relating to this case to call the Criminal Investigations Bureau at 340-712-6092. The Chief's Office at 340-712-6004, or the anonymous tip line, Crime Stoppers VI, at 1-800-222-TIPS, or you can call 911.
Meanwhile, on Friday at approximately 12:02 a.m., officers were dispatched at Veterans Drive on St. Thomas in the area of Griffith Ballpark to an auto collision. Officers say they observed a damaged white pickup truck with an unresponsive black male slouched over in the driver's seat of the truck. The preliminary investigation revealed that the driver was operating his vehicle traveling eastward on Veterans Drive in the area of Griffith Park. The driver ran off the eastern side of the roadway and collided into the concrete support of the light pole. The driver, 51-year-old Jerome Matthew, was transported to the Roy Lesher Schneider Regional Medical Center by ambulance, where he died of his injuries at 12:58 a.m. On Friday, August 28, police at approximately 3:44 p.m., 911 dispatch reported a man in a tree possibly electrocuted on St. Thomas. Upon the arrival of the patrol units, police say they observed a Hispanic male lifeless in a tree. The man was later identified as 59-year-old Norberto Garcia. Mr. Garcia was pronounced dead on the scene and transported to the morgue by the morgue attendants. The Coast Guard commissioned into service the latest fast response cutter called the Joseph Tezanos during a ceremony at the U.S. Coast Guard Sector San Juan Friday. It is the 6th fast response cutter to be home ported in San Juan. The cutter responded to the Caribbean Fantasy incident August 17th in San Juan, and that's the ship there that with 511 passengers and crew rescued. Lieutenant Nicholas Herndon, the commanding officer, said, "We will continually strive to emulate our namesake legacy as we work together with our local, federal, and international partners to strengthen the Eastern Caribbean's regional security and protect our citizens in Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. The cutter is named after Ensign Joseph Tezanos, one of the first Hispanic American officers to serve in the U.S. Coast Guard and highly decorated for leadership during World War II. In honor of National Breastfeeding Month, the Educational Institute at the Juan Louis Hospital hosted a breastfeeding symposium. Federal labor laws require employers to provide employees with a private space other than a bathroom to express milk. Well, today, the hospital gave a tour of the new corporate lactation room. The room features 2 comfortable chairs, 2 breast pumps, and a sliding curtain for added privacy.
Because as our unit, we believe in breastfeeding and we promote breastfeeding. So if we have employees here that are choosing to breastfeed and to provide their babies with liquid gold, we want to be able to support them in whichever way, that we can.
Meanwhile, many joined the Department of Health for Zika Action Days as part of the continuing effort to educate the public. The Department of Health, in collaboration with CDC and Walgreens Pharmacy, they held Zika Action Days on St. Croix on Friday, August 26 at the Christian State Fort Park, and on St. Thomas this weekend at the Walgreens Pharmacy location. Now, the event included information about Zika, prevention, food, music, children's activities, raffle prizes, and giveaways. On Friday, they started off with the first Zika Action Day on St. Croix, in which various government officials came in support and displayed an interdepartmental partnership in the USVI Zika response. Many agencies included the DLCA, Department of Public Works, VITEMA, Department of Agriculture, and the Governor's Office. There were live performances by Rising Star Steel Band, 250 Walgreens gift cards, gift bags, and more distributed on St. Thomas. On Saturday, August 27th, the Department of Health also held their free back-to-school immunization drive, in addition to the Zika Action Day in the Walgreens parking lot. Commissioners from the Department of Property and Procurement and DPNR, in addition to the interim executive director of VI Waste Management Authority, was present at the event on St. Thomas and provided remarks as to providing their departmental resources to address the Zika response in the territory. Total number of attendees for both days, approximately 1,000. 3,000 free Zika prevention resources were handed out to those who attended, to include 800 female condoms, male condoms, 900 repellents, larvicide for standing water. The Department of Health's immunization event was also a huge success, in which over 117 children's immunization records were reviewed. Food and Drug Administration issued guidance that all blood donations nationwide be screened for the Zika virus. Mary Maloney has that story.
Saying the health consequences of the Zika virus to pregnant women and their children are serious, the FDA announced Friday that all blood donations in the U.S. and its territories must immediately begin being tested for Zika. In a statement, the FDA's acting chief scientist said, quote, "We are issuing revised guidance for immediate implementation in order to help maintain the safety of the U.S. blood supply." Previously, only blood donated in areas with active Zika transmission, like Puerto Rico and some counties in Florida, were being screened. The FDA said the expanded testing will help to reduce the risk of transmission of the virus. In Florida Friday, Governor Rick Scott said the efforts of officials in his state have been instrumental in keeping Zika from spreading.
We haven't had a new case in a little over almost 3 weeks now.
But he acknowledged more cases are being investigated.
We have 2 additional counties we're looking at. On top of Miami-Dade, one is Pinellas, 1 case in Pinellas, 1 case in Palm Beach.
All this comes as the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention also announced Friday it has documented the first case of a person who didn't know he had Zika. He never developed any of the usual symptoms of the disease, like rash, red eyes, and fever, who then transmitted the disease to his female partner during sex. The Zika virus is spread mostly by mosquitoes, but can also be spread through sexual contact and can cause very serious birth defects. I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Thousands of people across the country started the week with a test Monday, the first day they could take a commercial drone pilot exam under new federal rules. Emily Schmidt reports from Washington on the lowered bar for getting a license to get those higher views from the sky. Here's more.
The buzz of drones carries
stories beyond their mechanical noise, as unmanned aircraft systems give us a different perspective of the world than ever before. From the rubble of an Italian earthquake to the devastation of a Midwest tornado, to the idea of getting a pizza to drop in, as Domino's demonstrated last week in New Zealand.
We just successfully delivered the first pizzas in the world.
Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg says drones have such potential to connect the world, he gave a model to the Pope when meeting him Monday. And drones' popularity is not lost on the Federal Aviation Administration.
Over the next 10 years, commercial unmanned aircraft systems could generate more than $82 billion for the U.S. economy, and by 2025 could be supporting as many as 100,000 new jobs.
Before Monday, anyone wanting a commercial drone license from the FAA needed a pilot's license, something that could be time and money consuming.
$20,000 at a minimum.
New FAA rules lower that bar. Commercial drone pilots must pass an aeronautical exam. Drones must be under 55 pounds, stay in view of the operator, and they can't fly higher than 400 feet. If you want to fly at night, you'll need a waiver.
There's going to be tens of thousands of people who are going to be legal to fly.
The FAA says the changes could open up opportunities from rescues to inspecting utility lines to helping farmers check their crops. With the sky no longer the limit in an industry almost unimaginable just a few years ago. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt.
Keeping our eye on the economy, Coca-Cola Company says it has exceeded its goal to replenish all of the water it uses to make drinks. Coca-Cola says last year it gave more than 190 billion liters of water back to communities and nature, about 115% of the amount of the water it uses to make its products. The company had announced the goal of replenishing all the water it used in drinks by 2020 through 248 community water projects in 71 countries. Critics, however, say they often don't do so near the local communities where it's taken from. Well, here's a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. As we can see, everything up. The Dow 107, NASDAQ 13, S&P 500 also up at 11. Coming up on News 2, back to school news and reminders, backpack giveaways, and more to encourage the young ones to head back to school prepared. That's coming up. Welcome back. Retired Judge James Carroll called on fathers, as he has done since 2009, to get involved. And the VI Fathers Back to School Barbecue and Fun Day, that was held on Saturday at Emil Griffith Ballpark. Jason Carroll Memorial Fund, Inc. and VI Mothers Against Guns, Inc. presented the event along with many others. Many students received free backpacks, t-shirts, free uniforms, and school supplies, and of course, words of encouragement. The Back to School Days of Prayer, that's coming up. That will take place in the individual schools on Saturday, September 3rd and Sunday, September 4th. Governor Mapp signed a proclamation setting aside 2 days of the year in which Virgin Islanders are urged to pray for the safety and success of the parents, students, teachers, and administrators. Impact in Your World 10th annual backpack giveaway was a huge success. You see the group there? They say this year over 300 backpacks with school supplies in them were distributed, and that's thanks to sponsors Yacht Haven Grand, who supplied the backpacks. Also thanks to AA Supplies, Cost You Less, Community Foundation of the VI, Senator Myron Jackson, East End Clinic, and members of Impact in Your World Christian Ministries. The students were pleased as they listened to motivational speeches. The giveaway was held at the church, Impact in Your World Christian Ministries at Altona. Now here is Ulla F. Muller Elementary School's opening activities as we look at orientation dates coming up. Tuesday, September 6th, first day of school for all students, 8:30 a.m. to 9:30. Registration, school overview for kindergarten and new students only. Parents are asked to provide a copy of students' immunization card to expedite the registration process. Orientation open house Thursday, September 8th, 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Grades 1st to 3rd. Friday, September 9th from 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Grades 4 to 6. Now, the Claudio Elementary School has scheduled orientation for kindergartners and new or transfer students on Thursday, September 1st from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. School insurance is $18 and may be purchased at orientation. The Youth Town Hall meeting was held Thursday at the Legislature's St. John Annex, and the purpose was to share information and suggestions among community members and the government to identify beneficial opportunities for youth development. Representatives of 3 departments of government described existing programs designed for youth development in academics, sports, art, and music. Commissioner Pedro Cruz of Department of Sports, Park, and Recreation laid out the Matt Potter administration's plans for capital improvements on existing sports facilities. Concerns from those in attendance included the lack of vocational training for students, not planning or prepared for college, critical teaching positions being left vacant, and the lack of adequate police patrols in areas of Cruz Bay associated with illegal drug sales. And there are plans to hold some more of these type of town hall meetings. Senator Marvin Blyden wants the St. Thomas and Smith Bay residents to know the facts about Cokie Point, the road that was placed on record from the Department of Public Works. According to Commissioner Gustave James, there are 2 phases to the Cokie Point Road repair. Phase 1, which is the new bridge adjacent to Margaritaville. Bids for Phase 2 from Vinny's food truck to the entrance of Cokie Beach was accepted about a week ago, and the department is in the process of identifying a potential contractor. Phase 2 of the Cokie Point Road project, they say, should begin in a minimum of 45 days. Temporarily repairing the Cokie Point Road, especially in preparation for Labor Day events, was scheduled to begin today. A potable water service interruption has been rescheduled for tonight from 8 p.m. to midnight. The Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority had postponed it due to inclement weather just last Wednesday. Customers west of Estate 2 Williams, to include Estates Whim, Hannah's Rest, 2 Brothers, Smithfield, the town of Frederickstead, Concordia West, and Estate LaGrange, may experience some low to no water pressure while WAPA's maintenance crews replace a defective valve to upgrade the current water system. Customers are urged to store adequate water for use during the service interruption. The authority apologizes for the inconvenience caused by this interruption. And here's some more WAPA news. On St. Croix, you may have noticed blocks from King Cross Street to Prince Street closed today, and additionally the block from Prince Street to Market Street will remain closed while other utility work is being performed, and this is due to the St. Croix Christiansted WAPA Waterline Rehabilitation Project along Company Street. Motorists are encouraged to be aware of and follow all the necessary detours that will be posted. Throughout this project, WAPA will work to minimize, they say, all service interruptions for both the electrical and water customers within the affected areas. New tipping fees begin October 1st. VI Waste Management Authority invites commercial haulers, self-haulers, businesses, and residents to a series of town hall meetings to discuss that implementation. Now, a tip-in fee is the monetary charge levied upon a given type and quantity of waste received at a waste disposal facility, including the St. Croix Transfer Station, the Bavoni Landfill on St. Thomas, and the Susannaburg Transfer Station on St. John. Meetings will be held right there from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, August 30th on St. Croix at the Curriculum Center, Wednesday, August 31st on St. Thomas at the Curriculum Center, Thursday, September 1st on St. John at the Legislative Annex. Well, here's some light news to take us out. New York's Madison Square Garden was the place to be Sunday night as stars and fans converged for the MTV Video Music Awards. Plenty of Moon Man trophies were handed out. But who really won the night? Here's more.
There was no stopping Rihanna. She opened the MTV Video Music Awards, performed 4 times during the show, and wrapped up the VMAs by accepting the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award.
I had so much fun!
This is fame, bro!
Kanye West did his best to stop the show with a long, rambling introduction to the world premiere of his new video, Fade. But the night's biggest buzz was about Beyoncé. Her videos won 8 Moon Men trophies, bringing her lifetime total to a record 25. And she stopped the show with a nearly 15-minute medley from her groundbreaking Lemonade album. As she said, she came to slay. In short, Rihanna rocked, Kanye talked, and Beyonce ruled the night. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Great highlights there, courtesy of MTV. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.
Happy Monday evening, and thanks so much for joining me here. I'm AccuWeather's Larissa Abreu with the look at your Virgin Island local forecast. Conditions across the Virgin Islands are going to continue fairly tranquil over the next few days. We have to contend with a trade wind shower, pretty typical for this time of year, but we aren't forecasting any important precipitation, so that is certainly good news. Here's a closer look at the island. Not much going on across the region from the Virgin Islands to Puerto Rico. It's nice and quiet. That you see that's popping up across Puerto Rico, it's just a glitch in the radar. There's really not much happening across the eastern half of the Caribbean. With that being said, we're actually wrapping up our Monday night with clear skies. It is going to be a little humid, so that is going to make things feel quite uncomfortable outdoors. So turn on the air conditioners, keep cool, stay hydrated. It's going to be another warm night, 82 degrees across the Virgin Islands. And then as we kick off our Tuesday, we anticipate partial sunshine, just a passing shower in spots. Once again, we aren't forecasting important precipitation. 91 degrees as we head towards Tuesday afternoon. In the 90s in St. John's, you too will see the chance for a spotty shower. Just a stray shower out in St. Croix, highs climbing to 91. Sunshine mixing in with clouds. And if you're out and about, grab the umbrella just in case. But once again, we are talking about spotty, isolated showers. Not everyone is going to see them. As we take a look at conditions across the Atlantic, waves are between 2 and 4 feet. Winds out of the east between 5 and 10 knots. Not much going on out there, so if you may be heading out to the open water, it's looking good. Also looking good in the Caribbean, where we have similar conditions here. Waves between 2 and 4 feet with winds out of the east between 5 and 10 knots. Here's a look at the next 5 days over the Virgin Islands. We continue with that spotty shower trend through Thursday. By Friday, showers still spotty in nature. As we head towards Saturday, our next tropical wave will be bringing the return of a few frequent showers. Temperatures will be in the lower 90s, upper 80s for the next few days. Sandy?
Thank you for that. Time for our News 2 weather picture there by Kayla Saintel of Great Minds Tutoring Service. And Kayla sends this beautiful sunny outlook there, blue skies, nice scenery there, enjoying the last few days of summer. Hope you had a wonderful one, Kayla. Send us your News 2 weather picture too. News 2 Innovative Business Center, 4611 Tutu Park, Suite 300, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, 00802. And that is all for this edition of News 2. We'd like to thank you for joining us for all the latest. I'm Sandra Dumanson. We'll see you next time.